Good morning. I am Ragusa, and I'm a member of this church fellowship, and this is my first reflection. So give me a break. Jean asked me to do this, and when I saw the prompt, I thought, pretty deep. Yeah, and I think I might be able to do this, so thank you for the prompt, Jean. I'm not much of a DIY, do-it-yourself person when it comes to repairing or refurbishing items, or even beginning from scratch, like knitting a sweater or a scarf. I kind of wish I was, but I'm not. A master gardener who helped me several years ago and became a friend in the process took a dilapidated outdoor end table I had, which was on its way to the dump. And she not only refurbished it, she transformed it. She took this damaged, ugly, rotting, unusable table, and with skill, precision, and perhaps a little magic, she turned it into something that belonged in an art studio. Perhaps in Santa Fe, because it had this new top with reused ceramic tiles, which I'm sure she got from other customers of hers, that sparkled and dazzled with the brilliant colors of the Southwest. Guess what? I wanted it back. I still have a picture of it in my phone, by the way. I guess that's the thing with things that are damaged or broken. Deep down, we want them back, at least back to normal, maybe to a higher state. My body has been repaired many times over the course of this life with accidents, athletics, bad luck, aging, and I've always been amazed at the ability of my body to repair itself. I can imagine this process going on inside of my body, restoring deeply scarred knees, a broken bone, even a damaged brain many years ago. Those cells and neurons and platelets all working inside our body in concert to repair, to rebuild, to heal. So why is it so much more difficult with relationships? Our bodies heal, objects can be transformed. Why not a relationship? I'll get to that. In my first life after college, I think I'm going into my fourth life, actually, but that's a different reflection. Anyway, in my first life after college, I was a juvenile probation counselor. Over 5 years, I supported about 100 or more adolescents in the system for truancy, minor theft, grand theft auto, carrying concealed weapon, the gamut. I'll share the story of Joe. Joe had the typical broken family background of many children in the juvenile justice system, a missing father and a mother in prison. He lived with his grandmother, who was on welfare. My job was to help him find a way to attend school, get a job, stop stealing. So I set a few things up for him, including weekly meetings with me. In the beginning, he would slump back in his chair, always had rigid hands like this, very little expression on his face, mumbled answers, mainly grunts, to my questions. Now, I was not a licensed social worker or a therapist. I'm still not. But I sensed his apathy and anger was really a disguise for being broken. I found a way to gain his trust, primarily through patience, asking few but important questions and listening a lot. I rarely offered solutions other than that he had to go to school every day and could no longer steal. With time, he did start to dress differently, not with new clothes. He had no money, but his clothes were clean. His pants were up around his waist. He started asking questions of me, usually in the genre of, how do I get better? Which meant I could start giving advice. So not only did he start going to school every day, he actually lit up when he talked about it. 5 years after I left my job as a probation counselor, I got a knock on my office door. It was Joe. He said, "Ms. Hecht," my maiden name at the time, "I'm very glad I found you. I just wanted to say thank you for completely turning my life around." And he proceeded to tell me what he was doing after he had graduated from high school. This was over 30 years ago. Yikes. But Jean's prompt 4 days ago made me think of this. Back then, while I may not have thought of it that way at the time, I think I carefully helped repair someone's life with a little bit of skill, a lot of patience, and maybe even a little bit of magic. Because I didn't do that for the other 100, so maybe some. I helped Joe find a way to make his life more valuable, more joyful. And at a deeper level, what I now realize is that people don't want to be discarded, just like my dilapidated table. So I need to learn from this. I have a relationship that needs deep repair. Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken objects by reusing gold lacquer, or using gold lacquer to piece together broken shards, creating a more beautiful object. Nice. My relationship that needs repairing. I certainly know what is broken. It's a relationship, so on the surface, it's communication that's broken. But at its core, trust, and even the love is a little broken. There are the stories that I tell myself about the brokenness of this relationship. We all do that. We tell our stories. But I know it comes down to a lot of emotions all tangled up that had vacillated between complete anger to complete sadness. So, a question I asked myself 2 days ago, what is the gold lacquer that I need to repair this relationship? What is needed to weave through the shards of emotional baggage? Well, I went to my red Heritage Journal, which 90% is a collection of inspirations, quotes, services from here. And I thought, well, I don't need to go spend money on therapy. I'll just use this. First, what I've discovered are the letting go themes. A quote, when something doesn't serve you any longer, set it aside. Say farewell. Well, there are definite emotions that need to be set aside. A service from the Fire Communion with Tovis and Hanju in January of 2023. I owe them some money for therapy, but I don't see either one of them here. It was the notion of letting go, not abruptly or completely, but just enough to free up the space to let grow, and in my case, to mend. And I like that. It's hard to let go completely. I like this not abruptly letting go. And then also, people who embody this are Buddhists. You know, they're very well practiced at this art of letting go because they also know that we can yearn at the same time of letting go. Second are the listening themes. Lots of this through the years in my book. One of the most profound quotes, deep listening yields wisdom and more connection. And third are the forgiveness themes. September 17th, 2023 service with Reverend Brian, this beautiful Jewish practice of atonement process for forgiving. First is to acknowledge the harm that has been done. Second is to commit to change. And third is to repair. What will you actually do? Fourth is apologize. And this is interesting because apology comes later in the process, after much has been said. And I recall Reverend Brian talking about this pull between repentance and repair, and that we have an overemphasis on apologizing and asking for forgiveness with an underemphasis on repair. And fifth, do it differently going forward. So, in closing, another quote, every action we take is a vote for who we want to be. My act of repairing this relationship is who I want to be. So I'm thinking of a spiritual practice to take on to get to this act of repair. Coming full circle back to I am not a DIY person. I'm not already that way. Many of you are. So perhaps I will start small and make candles out of old wax.